Hi guys, Jake here, and in today's video we're gonna finish creating rear of our Lego car. But before we start, if you like this content, please leave a like, share and subscribe, it really matters for me. And let's get back to our video. Let's start with creating sides of the trunk. I will use angled axle connectors to create a curve, add some pin connectors so I could add flat ones by the sides of the car, and I will fill the space between the exhaust and the bottom of the car with a lift arm. When I completed the right hand side of the rear, I got distracted by getting the correct mudguards, which are also available in black. So, on the beginning I used arcs 15x2x5 with a rounded top, and I tried to replace them with the same but straight top, but those also weren't fitting right. I thought about using mudguards from Porsche. The issue was that those were for smaller wheels, and that's what made me think, do I actually use the correct size wheels? As I figured it out, I didn't. Mitsubishi has an 18-inch rims, so when we apply the 1:8 scale to them, those should be 56mm wheels, not the 64 that I was using. That allowed me to use the smaller mudguards which were fitting, 13x2x5 with a rounded top, not the 15 ones as used before. After I replaced the mudguards, I also made the rear panel between the exhaust pipes more curved. Okay, after this series of distraction, let's get back to the rear. After completing the right hand side of the rear, I copied the parts from the right hand side and moved them to the left hand side. Also, in the meantime, I fixed the exhaust and connected it with the model, as before I used just the simple pipes that has now connected with the model, so actually when I will build the model they will fall off. Okay, after we get the rear, finally it's time to fill the empty spaces in the rear. I started from the top, the trunk. I tried various technique panels until one of them fitted, and hopefully it was a big fairing panel that fitted just fine in the model. After that I moved into filling a free space on the left mudguard. I tried to fill that space by using a frame with panels, but I didn't succeed. I tried some curved panels, but at the end the issue was that I couldn't use a straight lift arm between 2 points in the mudguard, because in that case the line will go through the mudguard and also through the wheel. But I could elevate that lift arm a little by using a pin connector, and that quickly allowed me to elevate the side of the mudguard to the height which should be in a reference model. Now after I completed the left mudguard, I had to make a filling between the mudguard and the rear of the model. I tried many solutions, but many of them didn't succeed until the final solution, which was a simple technique panel with the lift arms beneath it. Okay, now most of the side was ready, so I copied the part to the other side. That also made me make some cleanup on steps in the studio program, as currently the model was too messy and hard to manage. After that I started working with one of the hardest parts, connecting mudguard with a rear fairing panel using lift arms. And that actually was so hard that I had to make a drawing and make it on paper to make sure it will be functional. After assembling it, I was rotating the model and tried to look at it from different points of view and try to find where still is an empty space to be filled. And I found it on the top of the trunk and also on the sides, where was a small space when you look up at the model from the top. When I made sure the rear is properly filled, I started working on the grille. The issue was that the rest of the model was visible behind the grille, and it shouldn't be like that. So I patched this problem using a long black lift arms to cover that part of the model. Okay, now after our model is properly created, has all the blank spots filled, looks nice, let's connect it with the rest of the model. My main connection point will be a big wide bar that was used to keep the bottom grille in place, as it was one of the biggest parts, and it was a natural starting point for me. During trying to connect the rear with the model, I stepped on a few problems. Connections have to be strong and solid. I can't rely only on a few pins as this part weighs a little, and we have to keep that in mind. Also, how many connection points are enough? It's also hard to tell. I believe that the more the better, but you really have to trust your instincts that you will get the correct amount of connection points. I had to make sure that the rear won't jiggle, so had to add a big vertical arms that will keep it definitely in place. Okay, before I wrap up this video, I want to show you how the connector part looks like. At the bottom we have a black frame. That frame is connected to the rear cage by 3 pins. On the sides we have a bent liftarms. Those are the base for vertical liftarms that keep the trunk in place. Also, we have 3 pins on sides that are connected to the connection bar of the rear, the white bar. From the other side, we can see a vertical pin connectors that are connected to the grill to keep it in place. And with that, we completed making the rear of our car that was successfully connected to the model. That's all in today's video. If you like this content, please leave a like, share, and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye!